Hi there, everybody. I'm Trudy, One Grounded Angel, and I'm reading angel cards for you for the week April the 8th to the 14th, 2019. So we'll start with Monday. Oops, just knocking things over as I go. And let's see what message the angels have for us today. So I'm not sure if this card deck is going so well. We'll see what happens. So for those of you who've never seen one of these videos before, as you can see, I'm pretty casual. What I do is, before I start the video, I prepare the cards and I choose them based on which card deck feels right for each day. Sometimes I'll start shuffling and go, actually, maybe not. And then they'll make it pretty clear to me I've got the wrong one. Either the cards will fall out of my hand or it's kind of a feeling. And the way I choose the card is sometimes it just jumps out, literally. Sometimes it's sort of protruding. This is the one for Monday. It might be just protruding from the deck a bit, kind of like that. And sometimes I just get told to stop and it'll be the one directly on the top. So Monday we have the Crown Chakra card, which very rarely comes up as a card of the day. So chakras, I always like to explain this because some of you might not be familiar. I don't want to assume anyone knows anything. My whole ethos is to make these messages accessible to people. I'm very much against the airy-fairy spiritual kind of messages out there. I want to make spiritual messages grounded, hence my name. So therefore, I will explain things. So chakras are energy centers shaped like discs in our energy field. That's like an energetic space outside the body, called an aura by a lot of people, and it's what conveys your energy. It often enters a room before you do and may still be there when you leave slightly. It's sort of like something ethereal, so it's a little bit hard to explain. And we grow up being taught that things that we can't sort of touch or see are not real, but you can actually touch your energy field, and energy healers do, and you can see it once you're really trained to do so, but it is there, it is real, and what is going on in your energy field can determine partially what you attract into your life. So more on that later. The crown chakra is one of the 7 main chakras in the energy field. They are centers of energy that your life force energy flows through. Some people call it prana or chi or kundalini. There's no kind of wrong or right answers on that. But if that disc is blocked or out of balance, it means it's really going to affect the way that energy flows through, and that will have an impact on your well-being, your emotional health, etc. So this particular chakra, and there's more than 7, by the way, we just focus on the 7 main ones when we're doing things like Reiki. It's the top one and located around the head, obviously, crown, and it is its meaning, or what it's associated with, is about the way you connect to the universe, the way you receive messages, the way you're connected to all that is. It controls your sleep. It controls melatonin. Therefore, if you have trouble sleeping or unwinding for sleep, it might be something to do with your crown chakra. It's often blocked off when we don't want to connect to what's really happening in the world. The third eye, which is similar, is about delusion as well. But this is more like a higher level. It's the higher level learning, and I will post an article on my Facebook that explains this better because it sounds a bit tenuous, I know, but it is about the way you're connecting to your spiritual truth. That's the simplest way I can put it. So hopefully the article will help you if you feel like that's maybe blocked for you. And it is strongly connected to the base chakra, which is the first one, the one right at the bottom, and because we can't integrate ideas if we're not grounded. So you might be getting, your crown chakra might be getting all these great ideas from the universe, but if you're not grounded, if you're not centered, you're not going to be able to utilize them. So I often find that when the crown chakra is out of balance or blocked, often the base can be as well, or even the earth chakra. Moon cycles. Sorry, I realize I talked a lot about that one, but it is something that I feel needs to be explained. So Tuesday, moon cycles. A couple of things with this. We're not approaching a full moon this week. It's next week, then around the 19th, 20th, and so this is not pointing to anything urgent, but it might be saying that for some of you, pay attention to where the moon is at, because, and you probably will know if this relates to you, you will have felt like you struggle to sleep, or you feel really wired around the full moon or something like that, particularly if it's a super moon. We had a super moon last month, by the way. But if that's not for you, that's okay. It's often talking about cycles of life. So we go through cycles when we're really tired. We go through cycles when we're high energy. We go through cycles when we want to go out and be really social, and we go through cycles when we want to step back and be solitary. So just to honor where you're at right now, what your body needs from you. Try not to force things that your body is actively resisting. For example, when we ignore the body's need for extra rest, we often come down with illness, because that's the body's way of saying, hey, you need to stop, and if you don't, I'm going to make you stop. So that could be what is going on in there. Sometimes that card comes up for a women who are entering the change of life, so it could be about menopause and honouring where you're at in that cycle. Yeah, I mean, it can depend on what's going on with your body as well. It is a strongly connected card to your physical body. A lot of these cards speak more to your spiritual body, of course, but everything's connected. So Wednesday here, practice makes perfect, the patience card. So we used to get told when we were kids, practice makes perfect. And then somebody once told me, actually, perfect practice makes perfect. And I think it's a good way to look at it. If you are... just because you're doing something repetitively doesn't mean you'll ever be perfect. So really try and drop your expectations of perfection. But you still need to keep doing the work, because that is going to add up to something. It is building your skills in a way you probably can't see right now. So keep going. Be patient with the process. You don't know where you're going yet, but it will work out in the end. You just don't know how yet. Maybe in a completely different way to what you imagine. So we've got an angel on here playing the harp. Very cliche, but if you think about the nature of learning a musical instrument, and perhaps you had to do this when you were a kid, it was so boring doing the practice, but the feeling of playing that musical instrument and really nailing something was so amazing. So it did pay off, and this is saying the same thing. You will get maybe not perfect, but certainly good or more accomplished at something the more you do it. So please don't give up and go, I'm not going to do that because I'm not any good at it yet. This is particularly relevant to the idea of passion. Some people think that they just stumble upon what they're passionate about, they'll be instantly good at it. And in fact, passion is something that actually sometimes flows as a result. It follows the work. So you do the work and then suddenly you become passionate about it. So it's not necessarily something that comes instantly. Thursday. Oh, this card has got a lot of energy behind it. In fact, it was jumping out so much I almost skipped over and bent it. Thursday, time to go, the endings card. Now, sometimes we struggle with endings because we think, I don't know what's next. What's going on right now may not be right for me, but I don't want to leave it behind because it's better the devil I know. Or, you know, I feel safe with what I've got going on right now because I know how it's going, even if it's not great, particularly in relationships and certainly in jobs. So there's a lot of trust with this message. Trust that what is ending is for your greatest good to end, and that something better will come along. But that can only happen when you fully let go, and that means trusting. I use this quote all the time. Faith is about taking the first step even though you can't see the full staircase. And that's the case here. You need to walk away from what's not working. Stop trying to flog a dead horse, and you'll know in your heart of hearts what that relates to. Now, sometimes if we don't go, the universe takes it away from us, and this has certainly happened to me with being made redundant, laid off from a job that I knew was not right for me. It was depleting my stress levels, raising my stress levels, depleting my well-being, but I didn't want to go because I thought it would look bad on my CV and then resume, whatever you want to call it, and then got made retrenched. So that was the universe stepping in for me when I refused to do it. That doesn't always happen, of course. Sometimes the universe needs you to actually take the steps because you're doing something in the actual walking away yourself. But in that case, it was something I needed to do. Now, Friday, cleanse your energy. Love a good old cleanse. So you can probably see in the background there is a giant crystal that is clear quartz. It's a very good clearing crystal. It's a good one to have on your desk if you are in a workplace full of a lot of tumultuous energies, if I can put it like that. African violets on this card are good. I don't know, this is an Australian card deck. I don't know if those are available in other parts of the world. I know they are in New Zealand. My mother used to have them all the time, and I remember they were very resilient plants, which is always a good sign. So crystals, amethyst is another good clearing one. Burning sage is a wonderful way to clear a space, even though it will make your house smell a bit like a bushfire. That's okay. My partner can always tell when I've been burning sage while he's been out. And I do it in my healing space, which is the room we're in right now, before I do where I set up to do my readings, my videos, any sort of energy healing consultations with people, because I need to clear anything that's been left here from anyone else's energy. And also between sessions I have a sage spray. I don't go through burning again because it's very time consuming, but certainly I'll set up the day that way. And also clearing my own energy field to make sure I'm not bringing in anything that's going to influence the way I show up for a reading, or influence the way I interpret the messages that come through. So what other ways can we clear? Going through crystals, plants. Peace lily is also a really good one. In fact, if you Google NASA, and I don't know the exact sentence to type in, but the plants that NASA takes into space to renew the energy, or renew the oxygen, they will call it, because of course science, in spaceships, those plants are going to be really, really good for clearing as well. Anything that's replenishing energy, replenishing oxygen, is going to be good for also replenishing energy. Water, wonderful way to clear energy, particularly salt water. If you are able to swim in the ocean, that will help you a lot. Flotation therapy, all good for that sort of thing. So clearing your energy, and even if you don't want to do anything kind of active like that, I love practical tips, but not everybody does. You can do clearing meditations. There are some on YouTube. You can simply ask Archangel Michael to cleanse your energies. Ask Saint Germain to help clear your energy as well. That's another good one. Saint Germain is not actually a Catholic saint, but that's just the way that Saint Germain is known. And I guess also I should emphasize that the point of this card is to let you know that if you're struggling to make a decision or figure out what you're doing, it may be that you need to do a clearing of your energy before you're able to really connect with your intuition and understand what's going on. So if you're feeling blocked up, or like you can't quite get a handle of what's really going on, this will really help you to, if you clear the energy, you're wiping the slate clean, and then you can start, and it will be easier for you to identify what's going on. It doesn't mean your mind won't still intervene and go, oh no, you must do this. This is what everybody else does. This is what everybody expects of you. But it will be easier for you to connect with your intuition and go, no, that's not for me, actually. So let's go to Saturday now. Oh, wow, that jumped out straight away. Saturday, the 13th of April, Mary Magdalene, unconditional love. Now, the first thing I would always say when Mary Magdalene comes up is that she is a symbol of shame. Not that she felt shame, but she was shamed by people. So I'm getting that I need to tell anyone who is affected by shame, perhaps in the way they see themselves, or perhaps they feel it coming from other people, that's something you need to address, and energy healing is wonderful for that. Definitely hit me up if you feel like you need some energy healing around that. I've had clients come and see me for carrying shame around all sorts of choices they've made in their lives, and it doesn't serve you any purpose. Sometimes we think we hold that shame towards ourselves because we feel like we've failed, and if we don't feel shame towards ourselves, then we're condoning what happened, and that's not okay. But actually it doesn't really work like that. It's just like an emotional load that weighs you down, and you don't need it. And it certainly affects the way you show up for yourself, in your own relationship with yourself, and also in your relationship with others. It really limits your capacity to open up for love. So she is an appropriate figure for this card because the message is about forgiveness and lack of judgment. So you can see where I'm going with that shame stuff. So the card, I'll actually read it. I don't normally do this because I don't always love the words, but this is a good one. Love yourself, others, and every situation, no matter what the outward appearances may be. So where we're operating on assumptions about where someone's coming from, who they are, what they want, that really limits our ability to humanize them and to have compassion for them and see where they're coming from. So you don't have to condone people's choices. We had this last week. People don't always make very good choices, and it was the innocence card we had last Wednesday that relates to this. And so what you're called to do is never to condone bad behaviour, but certainly to see where people are coming from and try not to judge them for it. It's possible to see someone's humanity even when they vote for a party that you don't support, or they support some sort of ideology that you're fundamentally opposed to. Everyone's human, and everybody has capacity for profound acts of kindness and compassion and love. So try to be mindful of those barriers. I'm actually going to reuse a card deck. I don't usually do this. Reuse a card deck I've already used earlier in the week because I feel like it just feels right. That card literally jumped into my lap. Spread your wings. I love the illustration on this. It's so evocative. So just a random FYI, angels don't actually have wings. That's the way they've always been depicted. So they do leave feathers for us as signs because they know that we as humans associate them as having wings because, biblical imagery, etc., they've always been depicted like that. But they don't actually have wings because they don't need to fly because they're not human. They just appear, they're everywhere. They're made of energy, so they don't need to physically lift themselves from one place to the next. Anyway, I just thought I'd mention that because wings are on here. But you, however, do not have wings, but you do have the ability to lift yourself out of whatever situation or circumstance you're in, and it starts with your mindset. So if you are limiting yourself by thinking that'll never happen for me, or people like me never get opportunities like that, wherever it is you're limiting yourself, it asks you to push beyond that and to put yourself out there. Now, Jupiter, the planet that's associated with risk-taking and adventure and expansion, is actually just going retrograde this week. So it is a little bit more challenging to really push forward, but we can still do it. We just need to be, I guess I would say, strategic about it, or we can, I guess it lowers the potential for us to be totally reckless, which is perhaps a good thing. So we can spread our wings while still knowing I can't quite get all the way to where I want to go right now, but I can go this far, and then I'll learn something, and then I'll go to the next step. So don't feel compelled to go totally crazy and move to the other side of the world all in one go, unless you really desperately want to do that. You can be a little bit cautious with this card, but ultimately what you do need to do is make sure you're not limiting yourself in any way, in terms of to the point where you're not taking any steps at all, is what I'm trying to say. You don't want to be so paralyzed with doubt or fear that you don't do anything at all. So yeah, hopefully that helps. They're really emphasizing it's time for you to start moving forward and to look for where you might be getting in your own way. So if we look at the week, we've got a card around leaving, and we've also got a card around moving forward. So you can see a connection there. They're trying to, I guess, give us some motivation and to really push us to do that. And we're the only ones who can do it. People often say things haven't gone well for me because the universe hasn't given me this or that. Whereas in fact, the onus was always on you to take the steps, and the universe will support you once you start. The universe responds to action, and sometimes we get in our own way inadvertently. What else have we got? I guess also the patience is related to that, being patient, but to keep pushing ourselves forward. So that's it for the week. Also, this judgment one is sort of a carrying theme from last week. Thank you very much for watching. I'll post each card each day on my Instagram, which is at One Grounded Angel, and also on my Facebook page, One Grounded Angel, and I will post a message or an article from my blog about the crown chakra on there too. But feel free to do your own Googling. I'm certainly not the authority. I never call myself a guru or an expert. I'm not. I'm learning the same as you guys. So my objective is always to learn enough so I can throw it back down the line to anyone behind me, and we're all moving along the spiritual path at different rates, and I've got a lot to learn, trust me. But you guys are going to be right here with me as I learn, and I'll pass that on. So and equally, that's why I love getting feedback, as long as it's constructive and not an attack, because that helps me learn as well. So if I forget to post this, Someone please remind me. You don't have to go to my Facebook page. If you're not on Facebook, you can find it on my blog. Just go to the search field. If you're on a mobile phone, you'll need to scroll right to the bottom and pass about 4 or 5 articles to get to it. Just type in crown chakra. And all that, you can look up any chakras you want in there too. There's articles about all of them. There are articles about shielding. There are articles about friendships, about energy, all sorts of things as well. So thank you very much. That's all I need to tell you for now. I'm going over the 20-minute mark. Some of you have probably fallen asleep or lost your concentration, so I will sign off now. Thank you for watching. Take care. Have an awesome week, and I'll see you again next week. Oh, my blog. Sorry, the address, in case you don't have it, is www.onegroundedangel.com. Thank you so much. Goodbye.